Boa noite. Eu estava com saudade desse momento, dessa emoção, desse chegar para contar essa grande história geral, né, de maneira geral, que a gente está produzindo com os nossos encontros às terças. Histórias com Osho. E, né, depois das nossas férias, começar essa nova temporada é uma alegria imensa no coração, uma satisfação plena de estar aqui, não é mesmo, Biro?
E dá-lhe alegria, alegria, meu coração. Eu estava aqui cantando antes. Boa noite, Divya. Boa noite a quem está conosco agora. De novo, de volta. Histórias com Osho, já na sua 6ª temporada, quem diria. Vamos completar 3 anos em setembro. E isso nos deixa muito alegres de continuar esse projeto, né? Tem muita lenha para queimar ainda, porque não para de vir gente dar depoimento. Amanhã temos uma gravação muito linda, guardada a 7 chaves, mas que nós esperamos há muito tempo para fazer essa gravação. Finalmente vamos conseguir. Estamos muito
Adora
felizes.
fazer isso, né, Biro?
Provocar, isso aí. Deixa quase falando.
Ó.
Gente, bem-vindo. A gente está mais ou menos com umas 10 entrevistas gravadas, né? Algumas muito incríveis, outras também tão incríveis quanto, mas umas mais incríveis que as outras. É uma coisa maravilhosa, a gente está muito feliz com o que está acontecendo, né? E enquanto a Divya compartilha, a gente dá boas-vindas a todos, né? E eu vou dando os recados aqui. Os nossos agradecimentos e créditos serão dados ao final do vídeo. Hoje a entrevista é gravada com o Shailendra, o segundo irmão mais jovem do Osho. É a 3ª entrevista que ele dá para a gente, de uma forma muito incrível, porque foram 2 horas de gravação, a gente teve que dividir em 2 partes, e ele traz uns conteúdos muito interessantes. Vocês vão ver sobre o trabalho do Osho nos seus primórdios, nos campos de meditação, na criação da dinâmica, algumas coisas com relação a Nada Brahma também, e outras questões lá que o Osho trazia ao conduzir os campos de meditação pessoalmente, ele, Osho, né? Muito legal mesmo. Então, créditos ao final. Mesmo assim, nós agradecemos nossa equipe de apoio, agradecemos aos grupos Osho de Facebook que nos apoiam, Osho Sem Fronteiras, Gabriel Sananda, a equipe, Nelsânias A Nova Realidade, Francisco Siqueira e equipe. Um recado especial também, nós tocamos esse trabalho com o apoio das pessoas, através de doações. A Divya põe a chave nos comentários fixos, Chave Pix, e a gente está com um custo bem alto com essa montanha de gravações que a gente está fazendo. Então, qualquer quantia é muito bem-vinda, a quem puder colaborar para a gente poder prosseguir com o trabalho. Muito obrigado àqueles que já o fazem. Um apoio muito importante também é da nossa querida Sanguinha, que está sempre com a gente, nos assistindo. Estamos muito felizes de reencontrá-los, a todos da Sanguinha, e aos
todos.
newcomers, né? Aos que estão chegando pela primeira vez, ou que nos virem pela primeira vez também. Outro recado super, super importante, gente, se der travamento, vocês aguentem firme, porque às vezes é questão da transmissão do Facebook, que às vezes trava. Porque a gente faz uma coisa que não é muito comum, que é reproduzir vídeos gravados, como essa entrevista, que foi a única forma possível, não teria como, por questão de fuso horário e de linguagem, da gente passar entrevista com pessoas que falam inglês ao vivo. Então, foi a maneira da gente conseguir fazer esse tipo de entrevista e tal, e outras pessoas que, enfim, não é possível fazer no horário, a gente grava também. Outro recado importante é, se você estiver assistindo, estiver aparecendo legenda na nossa fala, você desative agora as legendas automáticas do Facebook, porque senão vai sobrepor as legendas que nós mesmos colocamos nas falas em inglês. Esse trabalho a gente grava, edita o vídeo e depois coloca as legendas, que são traduzidas e colocadas para as pessoas poderem entender em português também. Tá? Então, desative as legendas automáticas se por acaso tiver essa configuração. E também ative as notificações para receber os avisos quando a gente entrar ao vivo. Na página Divya10, você vai ver ali os 3 pontinhos que tem na tela, depende do aparelho, num local ou no outro, mas configurações você vai e ativar as notificações para ficar sabendo quando a gente entra ao vivo. Tá bom? Outro recado, nós não somos um canal oficial do Osho, somos apenas um grupo de amigos contadores de história, que há 3 anos, praticamente, conta histórias com Osho. E hoje mais uma delas.
Maravilhoso.
Então, como a gente estava falando, é a primeira parte de 2, a semana que vem nós vamos reproduzir a segunda parte. E o conteúdo
nova,
é
tá,
muito...
gente? Tem gente perguntando aqui, de novo, se é reprise, é nova, fresquinha, conteúdos novos, lindos. Só fica mais lindo os nossos contatos com o Shailendra, né?
Sim, ele é muito querido, ele é muito disponível, é muito simples também, o contato com ele, a gente fala direto com ele, nos manda material seguido do Osho, nos manda coisas também, e ele é um profundo pesquisador da obra do Osho. Então, ele vai nos contar hoje coisas que só tem em livros em hindi. E hoje e na próxima terça-feira também, nessas 2 partes da entrevista, ele vai nos contar segredos contidos nos livros em hindi, que ficaram só nos livros em hindi, não foram traduzidos para o inglês. Então, boa viagem a todos. Né? Vamos lá, Didi?
Todos os recados dados?
Acho que sim. Não faltou nada aqui, deixa eu ver.
Faltou só falar que a gente é melhor que Netflix.
Isso todo mundo já sabe.
Gente, a gente está aqui, daqui a pouco a gente volta aqui. E
Ao
espero
final,
que vocês gostem
a
tanto
gente
quanto a
volta
gente.
e encontra vocês, tá bom? Até
Isso.
já.
Até já.
Aproveitem. Namaste, Shailendra. Welcome again to Histórias
Namaste,
com Osho.
Swami Abiru and Ma Divya.
As I said before, we are very happy to be with you again. Okay?
I am also feeling joy and feeling Osho's energy.
The love is there, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Gonna start the questions.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Dear Swami Shailendra, explaining in Osho's vision the glory of Om, you explained the meaning of the titles of many books in the last episode. Today, we are going to discuss the importance of Om in meditation techniques devised by our beloved Master Osho. Recently, you indicated that there has been some mistake in the publication of the Nada Brahma meditation technique. I request you to explain to us in detail.
Yeah, it's happened a coincidence on 19th January 2023, just 2 months ago. I was in Rajasthan near Jaipur conducting a meditation camp, and the organizers told me that there is a nice place here, the Samadhi of a saint. His name is Dadu Dayal. Osho has given many discourses on sayings of Dadu Dayal, and the organizers requested me that if I want to visit that place, we can go there and have a full day picnic. So many friends came there and we celebrated. And in the afternoon, we were sitting near the Samadhi and we were playing Osho's discourse on Dadu Dayal. And in that discourse, Osho explained the technique of Nad Brahma, how it should be done. And then I realized that there is some mistake in the book, The First and Last Freedom, and what Osho is saying in this discourse. So I discussed with the friends there. They have been practicing Nad Brahma technique, and I asked them, can you hear the sound of Om? Nad Brahma means the sound of God, the music of God. Can you hear that? They said no. They have been practicing Nad Brahma for 20 years, 30 years. Someone was for 35 years. I said, now listen to this discourse again. We replayed the discourse, and it was quite clear what the mistakes have happened in the book. And then I read the book again and noted down some points which are wrong. And this happened because Osho has never explained Nad Brahma technique in any of the English discourses. Never. He explained it in many of the Hindi discourses. So when the book was getting compiled, the editors could not find anything original from English discourses. So they looked into the old book. In 1975 or 76, a book was published as Rajni's Dhyan Yoga. And in that book, Nad Brahma meditation technique is given. But that is not in Osho's words, but it is editor's words. So that was somehow translated, got into English, and then this English book, Meditation, The First and Last Freedom. If you see the beginning of the book, the editor has written, whatever is said by Osho is in straight words, and whatever is italic with an angle, that is written by the editor, not by Osho. The Nad Brahma technique is written completely by the editor, not a single sentence from Osho. So this is how I recognized. Now I have to read the whole thing and find out where are the changes. Because the editors in the English department, they have never heard Osho's Hindi discourses. It's not possible to understand those. So what they have selected from the book of 1975 or 76, and again that was written by the Hindi editor. Those are not the words given by the master. So then I realized something went wrong, and these are the few points I would like to mention. In English version, it says, a point will come when the humming continues by itself, you become the listener. Now, this one sentence is not enough to make the reader understand. I will repeat it again. A point will come when the humming continues by itself and you become the listener. For any meditator, this may not be sufficient. In Hindi discourses, Osho has given it in much details. First thing I would like to mention, in India, the yogis have been doing Brahmari Pranayam. That means a breathing technique with humming sound. Brahmar means beetles. As beetles sing around the flowers in the garden and make a sound, or honeybees passing by and make sound, that is called Brahmari Pranayam. So Osho has changed the name. He changed it to Nad Brahma meditation, giving it more a glory, a glorified name. the sound of God. That is the literal meaning of Nad Brahma. So not just beetles or honeybees singing around the flowers, but the music of God. So that is the literal meaning of the word Nad Brahma, and Osho has talked about it in detail. First thing he says, when you are breathing out, then you will make the humming sound. And when you are breathing in, at that time, listen carefully. You will be able to listen a subtle sound. So this will make a rhythm, breathing in again, breathing out again. When you are doing humming, you are breathing out. And during inhalation, nothing is happening. There is no sound. So you will be able to hear God's music, Nad Brahma. He says, do humming, exhaling and inhaling in a very slow speed. So give it proper time. So not a fast inhalation, very slow inhalation. So you have enough time to concentrate on listening. Second thing he says, when you start hearing the sound of Om, stop your humming. That is not needed anymore. That is just like tuning a musical instrument. That's why you were doing humming. Now the real music has started, and now there is no need of your humming at all. So that is very important point. The moment you start listening the existential divine sound, stop your humming. Third point is, most of the people who learn meditation, they either learn at a meditation center or in an ashram or in a meditation camp with group of people. And in group, it is not possible to listen to the divine sound. It is very difficult because when you are inhaling, somebody else is exhaling and doing the humming. So there is always the noise going on, and it's not possible to listen to that subtle sound. So Osho says, do it in your aloneness. This meditation technique is suggested to be done early in the morning. There is one word in Sanskrit they call Brahm Muhurt, the time of God. That means early in the morning at 3:30 or 4 a.m. So get up, everybody is sleeping. There is no traffic, no noise, children are sleeping, no work is happening in the house. This is the proper time to do Nad Brahma in a slow volume, low volume. So you don't have to disturb anybody's sleep. Do it very softly, gently, in a low volume. And this is the time you can hear very easily. So this meditation technique should not be done in a group. It's okay to learn, to begin in a group, but actually it should be practiced early in the morning. Hearing is impossible when the group is doing it. Fourth point is, most of the people are doing Nad Brahma technique with music on. Now, when the music is going on, how can we hear the divine music? And in the book, Meditation, the First and Last Freedom, it is recommended to do it with music. No, Osho has never said that in any of the Hindi discourses. Otherwise, it will become impossible to hear the divine sound of Om. Fifth point, Osho recommends during Nad Brahma meditation, use earplugs or cotton swabs. When Osho explained this technique in Hindi, at that time, earplugs were not available in India. So he recommended cotton swabs, make small pieces, small balls of cotton and put in your ears. So the outer sounds are cut off, and then you can hear the inner sound of consciousness very easily. So this was recommended in Nad Brahma meditation. Now we can replace the cotton swabs with earplugs. They are available everywhere. So then you can hear the sound very easily. I would like to give quotation from English books. I'm reading these lines from Nothing to Lose But Your Head. There is also no need to close the 7 openings of head with your hands. You can use earplugs and you can use a mask for the eyes. The real thing is to close the openings of your head completely for a few moments. This I have read from Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, Volume 1, Discourse number 11. Sixth point is, discourses regarding the identity of the sound are mandatory. Otherwise, how people are going to recognize it? Even when you are hearing the sound of Om, how will you recognize it? You may think, maybe I am dreaming, this is an illusion, or something is making sound somewhere. How we will make it confirm that this is the real sound? So in the book, there should be Osho discourses explaining what the inner sound of Om appears like. So these are the few points which are missing in the book, and the best will be if we translate from the Hindi discourses and then add in the Nath Brahma meditation technique, then it will be complete. So this I realized just 2 months ago in Jaipur at the Samadhi of Dadu Dayal, because Dadu Dayal has talked a lot about the sound of Om, and Osho has given beautiful discourses. One complete discourse, number 5 in Piv Lagi Pyas, is only about the sound of Om. Okay.
That's new. That's new. I will change my form from doing Nada Brahma.
Me too. I guess this is also wrong in the Orange book, this description.
Yes.
In Orange book, it was taken from the Hindi book. And in Hindi book, it was written by the editor. I have talked with the editor of those books. He is still alive. And he said, I didn't know much about it. I have never realized the sound of Om. So I just wrote it down.
Wow. And the humming sound still is with the, okay.
Yes.
Okay. But the listening is so beautiful, so complete. That you are talking about making the sound and listen, the passive part. It makes much sense to me. What are the outer sound which resemble the inner sound, and why it's called the divine melody?
It is called divine because it is not made by human beings. When we do humming, we are using our throat, we are using our vocal cords. It is human sound, a physical vibration happening in the air, in the atmosphere. So this is not divine. Divine means something which is not produced by anything at all. It is happening on its own. So we can call it the sound of God or the divine melody. It is not produced by any musical instrument. All other sounds are produced when two things strike each other. For example, I'm clapping. The sound happened and it just disappeared. It began and it ended. But the divine sound never begins, never ends. It is in the very nature of the consciousness, the very nature of existence itself. It is omnipresent. The sound I made by clapping, it is not omnipresent. It can just travel few meters and then it will disappear. But the divine sound is omnipresent. This word omnipresent is very important in English. God is called in the Bible as omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. And from where this Om comes? This is the divine sound. Omnipresent God means God is present as sound of Om. So this is unstruck sound. All ordinary sounds are struck sounds. I'm speaking, my lips are striking with each other, the air is striking with the vocal cords. That's how the sound is produced. But the divine sound is not produced in this way. So in this way, it is not a physical sound, not a physical vibration. We can call it metaphysical, we can call it spiritual. Osho has given this name divine melody to the series of discourses on Kabir, because Kabir sings too many songs of divine sound. Heraclitus calls it the hidden harmony. The Bible says, in the beginning there was the Word, and God was with the Word, and God was the Word. Osho says, in fact, in the beginning there was sound, not word, because word means a meaningful sound. Who will give meaning to it? A man is needed to give meaning with language. Meaning comes with the language. So the word of Om should not be called word as it is described in the Bible. It should be called just sound. It is meaningless. There is no meaning in it. It is tremendously significant, but it has no meaning. And you are asking what it appears like. We can give the example of few outer sounds like honeybees, sound of whirlpools, sound of waterfalls, sound of ghungru. Ghungru is a Hindi word. In India, you may have seen ladies wearing some ornament near the ankle, and it has small bells. Those bells are called ghungru, very small bells. And when the lady walks, the ghungru make the sound. Osho has selected discourse series title Pad Ghungru Bandh, as if you are wearing that ornament and walking, and that's making the sound, something like that. It appears like someone is playing flute from a far distance. You can hear very low volume. You may have heard the sound of electricity, particularly when the high voltage current is passing through the wires. You can hear is low volume humming, something like that. Or bells in a temple. In a temple, they make this half circle gumbaj, the top of the temple, and there they ring the bell. Everybody who comes to the temple rings the bell, and it echoes in that round shape. And that round shape is particularly meant for this. So this is a symbol that this kind of sound is the door to the God. This round shape, the door, and the bell is hanging there at the door, and every visitor who comes rings the bell. And the meditator who is sitting under the round shaped roof keeps on listening. Soon the physical sound disappears, and he starts listening the echoing for a few seconds, and finally the echoing also disappears, and then we start listening the divine sound. So these are the few examples. Osho has also used sound of running water very often. Sound of running water for the sound of Om. You will be surprised to know that when the book was published in 1978, Osho's photobiography, it was titled by Osho, The Sound of Running Water. And he himself wrote the introduction, his own introduction. I would like to read that introduction, and that will make things very clear. I am a child on the seashore of time, collecting seashells, colored stones. I am tremendously fulfilled. I know not who I am because I am not. What I am trying to say to you is a kind of music that I have heard. It has not been heard verbally. It is in the sound of the running water. It is in the wind passing through the pine trees. It is in the songs of the birds. It is in the silence of darkness. It is in the dancing rays of the sun. It is all over the place. But it is a music. And unless you are capable of understanding this music, you will not be able to understand me. You will go on misunderstanding me. What an introduction to himself. He didn't say a single word about the body, about the mind, about the knowledge, about the personality, about his work, nothing. He says, I am just music. And unless you are capable of understanding this music, you will not be able to understand me. You will go on misunderstanding me. At the end of the introduction, in this book, the editor writes, in giving this title, Bhagwan also gave in full the original quotation of the Jain master Dogen. The mountains are the pure body of the Buddha, and the sound of running water, his great speech. There is a hum of energy everywhere. It is a music and dance throbbing within our fibers, a sound from the very beginning to eternity. All this was written by Osho himself to be put in the introduction in his biography. So we can use all these symbols, running water, honeybees, small insects, they are called crickets, speaking in the night, particularly in the gardens. They are perfectly matching with the inner sound. So there are many things we can use as a symbol for recognition of the inner sound. And one thing should be considered, that inner divine music is continuous. All outer sounds are not continuous. The small insect makes sound in the night. It is called cricket or shrimp. But of course, that insect stops for a while, then restarts again. So there is a gap. But in the divine melody, there is no gap. It is continuous from beginning to the end, or you can say no beginning, no end. Remembering this introduction, which Osho has given for himself, now we can recognize the meaning of those golden words on his grave, on his samadhi, never born, never died. He's talking about the sound, not about the physical body. Osho, never born, never died. So these are the few symbols which are helpful in recognition of the divine melody.
So great. It's not clear to many seekers what will be experienced during the fourth stage of Kundalini and dynamic meditations. Has Osho pointed out something in this regard?
Yes, Osho has pointed out very, very clearly. I will read a quotation from I Say Unto You, Volume 2, Chapter 6. Here, when you are doing the chaotic meditation or the Kundalini or the Nath Brahma, these are not really meditations. You are just getting in tune. If you have seen them, it is like Indian classical musicians playing for half an hour or sometimes even more. They simply go on fixing their instruments. They will move the knobs, they will make the strings tight or loose, and the drum player will go on checking his drum, whether it is perfect or not. For half an hour, they go on doing this. This is not music. This is just preparation. Kundalini is not really meditation. It is just preparation. You are preparing your instrument. When it is ready, then you stand in silence. Then meditation starts. Then you are utterly there. You have woken yourself up by jumping, by dancing, by breathing, by shouting. These are all devices to make you a little more alert than you are ordinary are. Once you are alert, then the waiting. Waiting is meditation. Waiting with full awareness. And then it comes. It descends on you. It surrounds you. It plays around you. It dances around you. It cleanses you. It purifies you. It transforms you. I will read another quotation from a Hindi book, Suno Bhai Sadho, chapter 9. Osho is talking about Kundalini meditation, and he says, you will be able to declare the same statement as Kabir is giving. Nectar is showering at the crown center. Music is happening without any instrument. When you understand this phenomenon, only then you can meditate. The thirst of many, many lips gets quenched. Kabir says, O seekers, listen, and you will be immortal, you will never die. These are the lines of Kabira, which Osho is explaining. And in this discourse in Hindi, he explains Kundalini meditation. And then finally he says, you will be able to give the same declaration as Kabir is saying. Music is happening without an instrument. When you understand this phenomenon, only then you can meditate. Kabir says, O seekers, listen, and you will be immortal, you will never die. Kabir is talking about the divine melody. Same way about dynamic meditation. When Osho used to conduct himself up to 1973, in the fourth stage of dynamic meditation, he used to give instructions that listen to the subtle sound which is echoing everywhere. This was the main instruction he was giving. There were two instructions. One was about the sound and one was about the light. Everybody was given cotton swabs to close the ears and black iPad to close the eyes before dynamic. This was compulsory. And then in the fourth stage, Osho used to give instructions. Now look within and listen within. There is a subtle music going on, and there is dim light. Watch it. And it is happening by itself. Nobody is playing any music instrument. It is happening by itself. So you are not a doer. You are just a watcher. This was the meaning of watchfulness, witnessing. You are not making the sound. It is happening. You are just a witness. You are not a doer. So this was again and again emphasized. But later on, I see those instructions and meditations are removed. Most of the time I see on the net now only the discourse part is there. And after the discourse in the morning, there was always the dynamic meditation that is removed. Now it is difficult to find out. I have few old recordings. In old books, whatever he was giving instructions, everything was printed as he was saying. If he said 10 times, listen carefully, it was printed 10 times. But now the books are being printed by the outside publishers. They think this is wastage of pages. he's saying the same thing again and again and again. Why to print it? So they removed it. Because the readers are not interested in the meditation. They just want to read the philosophical aspect, the explanation, the discourse. So now many things have disappeared from the audios. Many things have disappeared from the books. I have saved all the first editions of the books to have a proof that this is what Osho was saying. So Osho was saying about looking within and listening within. And he was giving the example of the small insects, crickets, shrimps, making sound, something like that. But a continuous sound is happening within you. Listen to it. So this was the target of the fourth stage of Kundalini as well as fourth stage of dynamic meditation. In fact, this is the target of all meditations. Of course, godliness, the divinity, the consciousness which is just witnessing, and the divine sound is happening by itself. This is the target of all meditations. So not only dynamic and Kundalini and Nada Brahma, but all devices made by any master. Okay.
Once you mentioned that the new edition of Hindi translation of meditation, the first and the last freedom, the method called center of sound, is not complete. What is incomplete in it?
Yes, it is incomplete because the original discourse which was given by Osho while explaining technique number 38 in Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, the book of the secrets, Osho has talked about two methods which are just opposite to each other, and they should be done together, not separately. They are joined together. So I will read that quotation from Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, then I will give my comment. The technique number 38, Lord Shiva says to Devi Parvati, bath in the center of sound as in the continuous sound of a waterfall, or by putting the fingers in the ears, hear the sound of sounds, the anahat nath, unstruck sound. You can create the sound just by using your fingers or with anything which closes your ears forcibly. Then a certain sound is heard. What is that sound, and why do we hear it when the ears are closed, when the ears are plugged? Just as there are negatives of photographs, there are negative sounds too. Not only can the eyes see the negative, the ears can even hear the negative. So when you close your ears, you hear the negative world of sounds. All the sounds have stopped from outside. Suddenly, a new sound is heard inside. This sound is the absence of sound. A gap has come in. You are missing something, and then you hear the absence. Shiva tells Devi Parvati, or by putting the fingers in the ears, hear the sound of sounds. That negative sound is known as the sound of sounds because it is not really a sound, but its absence. Or it is a natural sound because it is not created by anything. Putting the fingers in the ears, hear the sound of sounds. This absence of sound is a very subtle experience. What will it give to you? The moment there are no sounds, you fall back upon yourself. With sounds, we move away. With sounds, we move to the other. Try to understand this. With sounds, we are related to the other. We communicate with the other. If the sound is the vehicle to move to the other, then soundlessness becomes the vehicle to move to oneself. With sound, you communicate with the other. With soundlessness, you fall down into your own abyss, into yourself. That is why so many techniques use soundlessness to move within. Become absolutely dumb and deaf, even if only for a few moments, and you cannot go anywhere else. than to yourself. So suddenly you will find that you are standing within, no movement will be possible. That is why silence was practiced so much. In it, all the bridges for moving to the other are broken. Or by putting the fingers in the ears, hear the sound of sounds. In one technique, two opposites have been shown. Bath in the center of sound, as in the continuous sound of a waterfall, this is one extreme. Or by putting the fingers in the ears, hear the sound of sounds, this is another extreme. One part is to hear the sounds coming to your center, another part is to stop all sounds and feel the soundless center. These both have been given in one technique for a special purpose so that you can move from one to another. The word or is not a choice to this or do that. Do both. That is why both have been given in one technique. Now, this was Osho's quotation. In the book Meditation, the First and Last Freedom, only the first half is given, bath in the center of the sound. The other part has been deleted. And Osho is emphasizing 3 times. The word or is not a choice to do this or do that. Do both. That is why both have been given in one technique. So there is a secret behind it. And when Osho devised the second step of Nad Brahma meditation, it is in a way, so both techniques given by Shiva are combined. For 7.5 minutes, we move our hands forward, very slowly, gently, listening to the music, and feel the vibrations, the energy is spreading out through the whole cosmos. And in next 7.5 minutes, we do the opposite direction, moving from the outside, coming to the navel center, and feeling the vibration, the sound, the energy is coming from the whole cosmos to us. So these 2 techniques, which are part of one technique, should be used in combination, as Osho has given in Nad Brahma meditation. I just few days ago read the Hindi edition of the meditation, the First and Last Freedom, and I found half thing is missing. So that is a big mistake on the part of the editor, because Osho is saying again, do both together. The word or does not mean that you have to do this or do that. Do both. So this is the incompleteness. Okay?
Ok.
Ok.
Swami Shailendra, Osho continued to teach passive meditation for about 15 years after attaining enlightenment. What was the main point during that period?
Very important question. The active meditations were designed near about 1970 or 69, and for almost 15 to 17 years, Osho was preaching and giving meditation. That meditation was not named. It was not called anything. Later on, we started calling it passive meditation in contrast to active meditation technique. But during that period, it has no name. It was just called meditation. I remember in 1962, when I was about 7 years old, I attended the first meditation camp. It was in Agriculture University at Jabalpur, where Osho used to reside in that city. About 20 or 30 people were there, mostly Osho's friends and some people from the family. And I don't remember what Osho was saying in discourses. I was too small to understand. But I remember what he was saying in the meditation. There were 4 main things. First, he was saying, feel your body is relaxing. He kept on giving this suggestion for few minutes. Then second thing he said, now feel, watch, the breathing is becoming slow, soft, gentle, harmonious, in a beautiful rhythm. He used to repeat this again and again. You don't have to change the breathing, don't have to do anything, just watch. And just by watching, it starts changing. It becomes slower and slower. So the first thing is body is relaxed. Now second is breathing has become very slow. Third thing is the mind is becoming calm and quiet. Just feel it. Watch it. It is becoming calm. It is quiet. Fourth thing was, now at the level of your heart, feel deep acceptance to whatever is happening. Whatever is happening right now in this moment, I accept it with joy. This acceptance will make you peaceful. So these are the four things. One at the physical level, relaxation of the body. Second, breathing becoming slow. Third, at the mind, becoming calm and quiet. And fourth, the heart is full of peace with deep acceptance in the present moment. And then comes the waiting, the real meditation. Listen. I remember in that agriculture university, there was lots of trees and gardens. And there were so many insects making some subtle sound all the time, and frogs making sound, and birds, particularly in the morning session. In the morning session, sound of birds, and Osho was insisting again and again, listen to that sound. Now the cuckoo is calling. Now the cuckoo has stopped. Now listen, what is happening? For some moments, there was no bird making any sound. It was silence. Again, some bird started chirping, and Osho says, listen to that chirping bird. Now the bird has stopped. What do you listen now? Pay attention to it. In the night, it was the sound of crickets and shrimps, sometimes frogs. And it was so easy to listen to the sound of existence. So this was the meditation Osho conducted for about 15 to 17 years. And it is in many of Hindi books. At that time, Osho didn't speak English, so it was all Hindi. I will read you few quotations translated from the Hindi books. The first one is from Mati Kahe Kumarsu, discourse number 1. I will explain to you the small process of meditation now. Nothing has to be done. The night is speaking. The prawns are talking. A bird will make a sound. The wind will blow. If a tree moves, then silence follows. Sit quietly and listen to the sound of existence all around. It's the unheard sound that's happening all around. Listen quietly to it. By listening to this, perhaps in the sounds of these shrimps, crickets, a glimpse of God's voice will begin to appear. Just listen attentively and do nothing else. And you will be surprised. Perhaps you will not even realize that just listening makes the mind so calm and quiet. It is unimaginable. The second quotation I'm reading from the book Sakshi Ki Sadhana, discourse number 5. There will be voices all around. Shrimps are speaking. The silence of the night will speak. Listen to it calmly, without any resistance. You are just a witness in this quiet night. You are just a witness of speaking shrimps. The mind will become silent as soon as you start hearing it. The mind will become calm as soon as you hear it. There will be silence within, and it will seem that the night filled with silence outside has entered even inside you. You have drowned in it. Listen. Leave yourself on for 10 minutes and see what happens in this deep relaxation. You don't have to do anything. Something will happen. Just keep on listening. Third quotation from Mahavir Vani, discourse number 7. Sometimes you hear the sound of silence in the forest. It is not coming from outside all the time. The truth is that sometimes it is coming from within you. But due to the removal of outer sounds, you think it is coming from outside. And for that purpose, you don't have to go to the forest. If both ears are closed with hands, then the voices will be stopped from outside and the inner silence will echo as the shrimps are speaking inside. This is the first manifestation of the inner melody. And as soon as this melody appears, the voices outside will seem less juicy. The inner music will begin to give you a lot of juice. Within a few days, what seemed like silence in the beginning, it would become denser and denser. Slowly, this silence seems to become a sound of mantra Soham or Om. On the day it begins to appear like Soham or Om, no music produced from outside instrument can compete with it. So my dear friends, these are the 3 quotations I read from the Osho's Hindi book. So this was the main meditation technique. There was no name given to it. Only later on, when the dynamic meditation and other active meditations were invented, then we started calling it the passive meditation. Otherwise, it had no name. It was just meditation. So the 4 steps were the path to meditation: relaxation of body, slowing the breath, mind calm and quiet, deep acceptance and peacefulness in the heart. These 4 were the steps, and the final target was now wait and listen. That was the magic.
Total. What changes have taken place since Osho developed the dynamic meditation method?
Yeah, many changes happened, and Osho was ready to make changes. So some changes are made with Osho's permission, and some are made without his knowledge, or it was not understood very well. For example, when dynamic meditation was started, Osho said that people who want to remove their clothes and be naked, they can do so, particularly in the second stage of catharsis. So the catharsis will be deep. The clothes are somehow related with our conditioning, our education, and our suppressions. By removing clothes, you will feel like a newborn baby, born naked. All conditionings and suppressions, repressions are removed. But when people in the Mount Abu, Rajasthan, became angry, and the photographs were published in the newspapers, in the magazines, and the government forced that this cannot be done in a public place, then Osho said, okay, nudity is no more allowed. So this is a change. If it was possible, he would suggest to do without clothes. Of course, you can do at your home, in your room, without clothes. But publicly, he said, okay, we will not allow nudity in the camps. So these are some changes made by Osho. For example, in the beginning, the third step was, who am I? In Hindi, मैं कौन हूँ? Translation of the same, who am I? So this continued for few years. Later on, Osho changed it because many of the meditators took this mantra as not a question, but just as a mantra, repeating, who am I, who am I, who am I? मैं कौन हूँ, मैं कौन हूँ, मैं कौन हूँ? And it made no sense. It should have been a deep quest, a penetrating question in the consciousness. Who am I? But in place of that, it just became like a chanting mantra. Somebody chants Om, 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 or Ram, 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 or so many mantras are there. So Osho changed it. He said, start using now only who. And he explained this who was there in who am I in English also, and Hindi also, मैं कौन हूँ. So the sound of who is important. So forget the question. The third step was changed, only who. Osho was insisting on the very first day of meditation camp that blindfolds have to be used and cotton swabs have to be put in the ears or earplugs, and you have to keep silence the whole day. This is for the whole 9-day camp. Keep blindfolds on, even during the discourse. It was allowed to remove the blindfolds only at the night during Tratak meditation, when we were gazing on Osho. Otherwise, the whole 24 hours, you have to keep your eyes closed, keep your ears closed, and focus your energy in listening within and watching within, and as far as possible, remain silent. No talking, no speaking, only when it is very much necessary. Osho was giving instructions himself to watch within, listen within during the fourth step of meditation. And one more thing, he was saying in fourth step, put your thumb on the Agya Chakra, the third eye center, and rub it with little pressure for about 1 minute. And then drop your hand. Now look within from the third eye. And this was very helpful, not only in looking within, but in listening within also. When the energy reaches to the third eye, once Osho has said, it is not only third eye, it is third ear also. From these ears and eyes, we look and listen from the outside, and from the third eye, we look and listen within our own consciousness. So this was part of the dynamic meditation. Later on, few changes were made as the situation did not permit. For example, when ashram was established in 1974 at Pune, the people around in the Koregaon Park, they complained to the police that these people are making noise in the morning, disturbing our sleep, should be banned. So it was an order from the court that you cannot make sound. So change was made. Do catharsis, the second step, and the third step of who, without making sound. Just exhale out as if you are saying who, but really do not make any sound. And similarly in the catharsis, do whatever you want to do, physically express from your face, from your hands, from your whole body expression, but without making any noise. So these changes were made, and a time came when many seekers started coming to ashram. It was a small place called Radha Hall. You may remember later on it was turned into bookstore. It was a small place, and many people started coming, so there was no place to lie down. In the beginning, it was said in the fourth step, either you can remain standing or sit down or lie down, whatever is comfortable for you. Later on, this was changed that you have to remain standing because there was no place to lie down. The place was so much congested. The process of pressing on the third eye was discontinued. I don't know how it got discontinued, and Osho's instructions were replaced by the music and silence only. And much later on, the fifth step of gratitude was added in dynamic meditation. While Osho was conducting up to 1973, there was no fifth step. The meditation was finished on fourth step. Later on, fifth step was added, dancing with the music, with the feeling of devotion, thankfulness, the whole existence. In Western countries, most of the people are living far away from each other. The population is not dense, and you are living in an air-conditioned house, which is almost soundproof. Even if you are making sound in your house, your neighbors don't get disturbed. In India, things are very difficult. It is a very dense population, very dense population. And no soundproofing, no air conditioning in 90% of the houses. So when people started doing dynamic meditation in their home or in their meditation center or in their ashram anywhere in India, it became a problem. The neighbors would get angry. The family members will become hostile towards the meditators and towards their guru Osho. That what kind of meditation is this? You are disturbing everyone. So this was the negative aspect. People continued to make noise, shouting, screaming, laughing loudly, weeping, crying, and all kind of madnesses. And this is the reason so many Indians have become against Osho. They have not heard Osho, they have not read Osho's book, but they have seen only the Osho sannyasins doing dynamic meditation. And that is enough to make them upset. So in the Pune ashram from 1974, it was not allowed to make noises. Yes, we got a permission for 3 days only. In the beginning, 11th, 12th, and 13th, these 3 days of every month, it was allowed to make noise. The ashram has taken the permission from the court that for 3 days we can do it, but not the whole month. But most of the people do not know this, and they continue to make noises and disturb everybody and make people angry and against Osho. So this should not be done. So these are the few things. I will just say again, the earplugs and blindfolds are compulsory. And they should be compulsory. People have forgotten about this because it is not written in any book. Okay?
simplesmente fantástico. Que delicadeza.
Estava rindo aqui, né? Porque, assim, é meio quase um choque, assim, para algumas coisas que a gente há muito tempo tinha como, né, a maneira de fazer correta e tal. E, além disso, teve um negócio ali na tradução que eu sofri revisando a legenda, que ele falou em shrimp uma hora e saiu
Shrimp,
camarões, e eu não sabia o que colocar.
É cigarra? Tipo uma cigarra deve ser, né?
Eu não sei o que é, daí acabou saindo camarão mesmo, daí
Deixa o
alguém
camarão.
já se reclamou ali. Eu disse, é um coa. Gente, desculpe, às vezes a gente escorrega na tradução, mas na legenda, né? Mas a gente faz o melhor.
Vocês entenderam, deu para
É.
entender, não tem problema.
Gente, a semana que vem tem a segunda parte, então aguardamos
Maravilhosa também.
todos lá, todos e todas, venham com a gente, né? E
Isso. Espero que vocês tenham gostado. Gostaram, né? Claro.
é uma
Isso
coisa que
muda
eu acho
muita
que
coisa, né? Muda
é
muita
de ver
coisa.
muitas vezes, né? Com
Muda
perdão
bastante.
pelos camarões. Gente, a próxima está muito linda também. Tenham ficar com a gente, porque a segunda parte é muito profunda. Tem coisas que ele conta do Osho conduzindo os campos de meditação, ele próprio. Né? Mais detalhadamente, o que acontecia, os estágios que eram a meditação. Agora, essa coisa, né, Divya, de que na dinâmica podia escolher ficar de pé sentado
Porra!
ou deitado, o que fosse mais
Nossa, mas
confortável, e a gente sofrendo a dinâmica com o
a gente
tempo todo.
sofrendo no stop, que nem uma árvore lá em cima. Pode escolher, gente. O Osho falou. O Osho disse, tá dito, entendeu?
Semana que vem tem coisa sobre trataque sensacionais. Tá? Venham com a gente. Boa noite,
Até
Tívia.
semana que vem começou mais uma temporada deliciosa. Vamos até o final do ano com muitas histórias com o Osho. Muitas histórias com o Osho para compartilhar, para a gente estar juntinho aqui nas terças-feiras. Viu?
Olha, tem gravações lindas, tá? Só esse mês a gente fez 2, aliás, uma vai ser amanhã, mas a gente vai ter que correr para conseguir colocar tudo nesse semestre agora. Tá bom, gente?
Tá
Obrigado,
bom,
Dívia.
gente.
Boa noite.
Beijo.
Boa noite
Beijo, Bi.
para todo mundo.
Beijo, Sanguinha. Que delícia vocês todos aqui acompanhando. Viu? A gente sente todo esse calor de vocês aqui. Até semana que vem. Beijo.